is a PR firm different than a marketing firm?
Yes. So a marketing firm, they're basically going to help you with your brand, with the packaging, with the copywriting, telling you, you know what, we need to change this on the logo, maybe help you with your website and do e-com and help do different promotions and different promotional calendars. But PR does fall under the umbrella of marketing's PR and social media and advertising. It's just general marketing is more developing a brand internally so that it's ready for consumers.
All right, folks, it's time for our favorite podcast, Cut to the Chase. Are you struggling with your brand awareness? Maybe you're trying to become an influencer and you're like social media, posting all this stuff, newsletters, and it's not getting there. Well, have you thought about public relations, PR? It's not marketing really, but maybe that gets you to the promised land. So I'm bringing on today Megan Bennett from Light Years Ahead. How are you doing today?
Great. Thanks for having me on the show.
All right, Light Years Ahead is a boutique PR firm, been around for 20 years. Megan is co-owner, president, CEO. Did I get that right?
Yeah.
All right, so I want to cut to the chase and like, who can you help? And how does PR work?
Right. So public relations 101. PR is basically, I would say, the most authentic marketing tactic that a brand or an expert can use in order to help get the story out about your brand and build brand awareness. And really what it is public relations firm meet with the brand, they get the brand messaging, they come up with like the elevator pitch, and then we create very compelling pitches and different angles that we go out to the editorial media, which is like producers at different TV shows and editors and freelance writers. And we pitch your story and get them interested so that they cover it in it's not a paid it's not a paid ad. Like if you buy an ad and you spend $3,000 for one page on People magazine, you know that somebody's paid for that, that the brand's paid for that. Whereas they might pay a PR firm a monthly retainer to get 5 to 10 different really provocative editorial placements that is done by a writer or a producer based on their own personal experience, not because we paid them to do it. And so it's authentic. It helps to build your SEO awareness, and it really helps to give that validation from a third-party editorial that helps to build brand awareness. And so that's where public relations comes in the marketing tier. It's really us reaching out to the movers and shakers in the media that people listen to, getting the products or services into their hands, doing extensive follow-up and getting them to cover it in their own opinion on air or, in a post or on TV.
All right. So, full disclosure, I do use a PR person, not an agency. So Light Years Ahead, you're talking about a boutique agency. You have a team of people. It's not just you. Tell us a little bit about Light Years Ahead and, your typical client, your typical type of client that you've been effective at doing what you do.
Yeah. And we are boutique. So there's 4 of us. We're women owned. We've all been working together for years. And we're across the country. Everything's virtual. And that's kind of how the team works. And even though we're boutique, you get such great service working with a smaller agency like ours, because if you work with a big firm, a lot of the times you're going to talk to the VP or the president of the firm, and they're going to pitch you their services and say, oh, we're going to do all this stuff. And then you start an engagement and they put you with a junior person that you've never met that's working on your brand, and you don't even know what's going on. With us, it is us. Like, I am Light Years Ahead, my business partner and I, and the 2 women, we pitch everything ourselves. And so you're going to be working directly with me and my partners, and you're going to be treated like you're our only client. So that's kind of the difference of going with somebody like us. And I've been doing this for over 23 years now with the same company. And we really specialize in lifestyle, health, fitness, technology, wellness, beauty, pretty much any consumer type of products or experts that need a story told. That's where we come in.
All
We
right.
also work with some brands that have been, stagnant for a long time. So maybe they've been in the market since the 1970s. They've never had PR and they want to be revitalized. So agencies, or not agencies, but brands, they hire us to do that as well.
All right. So is it just for companies that have products, or maybe like an individual that provides a service, an accountant and a life
Yeah.
insurance agent? Are you doing both? And do they
Yes.
with both?
We do both. We do experts, lifestyle experts, and we do products, and we also do services. So, I mean, we've worked with everything from, a founder of a national nonprofit foundation for horses to a woman that is an animal communicator to an author of a book, to a meditation expert composer, and then also to just everyday products that you see, at Target or Walmart. So we do all of it.
All right. In terms of like budget, so there are probably people out there that are maybe doing their own social media. Maybe they're savvy enough to be able to turn that camera on and do a video and post it and know how to handle Instagram or whatever platform they're using.
Mhm.
Um, but a lot of us, like myself, sending out newsletters, does it really work? Are they click? You're looking at the metrics. Boy, I don't have no idea if this is really working. So, in your world, I mean, are what kind of budget does someone need to have, or a company need to have to go to you? And what are their options? Let's just say if they don't have the money to go.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, listen, we are a lot less expensive than the traditional firms, which the traditional firms, the big ones, probably charge anywhere from $8,000 to $20,000 a month. We start at a monthly retainer of $3,500 a month, which basically gets you everything. The only outside cost would be for the client to ship the products out themselves because we don't do that internally. And also, like if you wanted to do an integrated TV segment where you pay a third party to get your brand on some sort of a sponsored segment, that's an outside fee. But other than that, it's just that flat fee, depending on the scope of work. And if brands can't afford it, then I recommend that either, they try to do it in-house or they hire just like a contractor that's one person that they can get for less. Now, are you going to get the same results? Absolutely not. But if that's all you can do, that's all you can do.
Yeah.
And, one way or another, you've got to find a way to build brand awareness. And so I always tell brands if they can't afford it, they need to try to find a way to do it themselves.
When I hear brand awareness, especially the word awareness, I can't imagine that, it's a 1 month kind of deal with you and getting it out there. What let's just say, your typical somebody's launching a product. Maybe I had somebody on my show that's launching a clothing line, right?
Mhm.
And so what should they expect in terms of realistic expectations if they say, you know what, I'm all in. I can't send out another newsletter. It's not doing anything for me. I need to be on TV or in some kind of media outlet.
I would say ideally at least 6 months to really start to see the momentum. I mean, we've done 3-month blitz campaigns, which work. And sometimes within the first like 4 to 6 weeks, you'll start to see placements coming in if it's timely. Say that we're working on a brand that has great Mother's Day gifts or something like that. And then Mother's Day comes in. But for the most part, we say at least a minimum of 6 months to a year is really when you'll see the momentum going. Now, if you're hiring a firm just to do one event or something, then it's just a one-time deal, They're promoting one thing, it's at a specific date, but it takes at least 4 to 6 weeks to get all that prepared to do it.
All right. So I don't want to, listen, I'm an attorney, podcaster. I actually have a PR person that I use. So I don't, and there are lawyers that listen and law people that listen to the show. So
Yeah.
let's just touch on that. Do you help lawyers? Do you do PR campaigns for lawyers? And what would that kind of look like?
Yeah, I mean, it would be the same retainer. It would be more of some B2B, so like promoting you to different legal trades so that people, know about you, but then also promoting your services to national media. Like, for example, I have a relative that is a criminal defense attorney and he saves people that have been wrongfully accused that have been in jail for, 20 to 30 years. And so like, um, he has an internal PR firm that he uses because he's at a really big agency, but they pitch into the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal and offer him as a source for different type of cases that are similar. So that's how I would do the same thing, or figure out what's your specialty and then go after those type of trades and also consumer media to target the type of customers that you're looking for.
All right. And so when we talk media, there's print, there's TV, there's all types of media. Do you do it all? Are
We
you
do it all. I would say the only thing that we really don't focus on is radio, just because we can pitch radio and we have, like, we represent a meditation expert composer, and sometimes we get him interviews on, different Los Angeles stations and things like that, and NPR. But for the most part, radio, they want to charge you to be on. Like, once in a while, you can get free segments, but most of it's paid. So we really focus more on TV, national TV segments like the Today Show, Good Morning America, regional morning shows and talk shows, and then newspapers, magazines, and then digital magazines and websites. And digital and websites is really like the sweet spot for us for most of the brands, because everything's virtual these days.
So that leads into my next question, which is, what is the state of media these days? Has it changed so much that I would imagine you had to adapt as well? And is there a future? Is media just going to keep transforming in such a way that maybe we don't even recognize it in the future?
Yeah, I would say it's definitely changed from since I started 23 years ago. It was all like pretty much print. They didn't have a lot of virtual outlets, and there were all these magazines, and I would get my brands into, the top magazines like Redbook and People and Shape, and they would get, like an eighth of a space on a magazine editorial. But now a lot of the magazines have gone virtual only, or they folded completely. And like, even if you go to like a Barnes and Nobles and look at the magazine stands, you'll see either really old magazines that are sitting out, or like quarterly magazines. A lot of them are quarterly now. And I feel like the landscape has completely changed, where it's much more advantageous for a brand to get virtual coverage, because you can always link to it. You can keep sharing it in social media. You can share it in marketing, and it will link directly to that article. And digital is really, and virtual is where it's at right now. It really is.
In going through your Light Years Ahead website, I saw, that your approach is like a grassroots PR approach.
Yes.
Explain what's grassroots about it?
Grassroots is that basically you hire us, and there's no like, oh, we're going to make some crazy electronic press kit, put in all these bells and whistles. No, I mean, what you see is what you get. You hire us, we get on a call to, onboard the client, and we ask you a bunch of questions. And then it's just grassroots, because what we're doing every week is coming up with different compelling email pitches and pitching the media with different things and doing extensive follow-up and getting the coverage. We're not adding in all these bells and whistles like, oh, we do all this event planning and extra X, Y, and Z. It's just PR. It's just us pitching your brand, getting your services or samples into their hands, doing extensive follow-up, and getting you third-party editorial coverage, media placement.
What happens when, I would imagine that you probably see brands and logos and you're like, wow, that's just, you got a good product, you're good at what you do, but your brand is terrible. I mean, does that happen? And how do you handle that? I kind of have to believe it.
Yes, it's happened multiple times. Or like, we'll get a client where the product is incredible, but like the packaging isn't good. So, we take it on and we provide honest feedback, and sometimes they change it. And sometimes they're like, this company's been around since whatever, 1980, and it's owned by a private equity firm, and nobody wants to change the packaging, and it's just the way that it is. And so we just have to find ways to make it work. If the product is good enough, sometimes the packaging doesn't matter, but at first glance, that's the first thing that somebody's going to see is the packaging. Yeah. Now, if we're promoting a product that has beautiful packaging and it's not a great product, that can be challenging as well.
Yeah.
So I try not to work with brands where I don't believe in their integrity, or where I think it's a crappy product, because how can I promote that?
Yeah. No, I would imagine that's, at some point you want to make money, you want to provide a service, they're reaching out to you. Maybe that it's even with the bad packaging or the bad product that made some sales, and they're like, well, you got to get it to the next level. So I guess, you got to figure out how to handle that particular situation. And if you could, packaging is key, unfortunately.
That's what people look at. That's why, I've got tween girls, and when we go to a store, that's the first thing they look at is the packaging.
Yeah.
And they'll buy something just because of the packaging. So
for me, a lot of times when I am looking at the packaging, my sole issue is, can I open it up? Some of these things you got to cut with, you're cutting yourself and you're ripping it with your teeth, and you're like, goodness, I lost 2 teeth, but I got it open. It's just,
I know. And it's like, even if there's an X-Acto knife, like right on your desk, you still forget. And you're like, I gotta get this open.
yeah, you're so excited. You're
It's
like,
hazardous.
all right. So some people out there might be listening and saying, hey, listen, I got a marketing firm that I'm paying a lot of money. What's the difference? I mean, is a PR firm different than a marketing firm?
Yes. So a marketing firm, they're going to hire you, say you're a brand and you want to hire a marketing firm they're basically going to help you with your brand, with the packaging, with the copywriting, telling you, you know what, we need to change this on the logo. We need to change this in your ingredients. A marketing firm is going to maybe help you with your website and do e-com and help do different promotions and a different promotional calendars. But PR does fall under the umbrella of marketing's PR and social media and, advertising. It's just general marketing is more developing a brand internally so that it's ready for consumers.
All right. And so your outfit, LYA, does not do social media.
We do not, no.
Okay.
But we have a lot of clients that, where we work with their social media firm to, copy them on all posts and everything and things like that. We work synergistically, which is great. It's just not our specialty. So, yeah.
Gotcha. All right. So, I want to kind of go back to the types of clients that you've handled. And I did listen to one podcast that you were the guest on. So I do know some, as an attorney, like our training is don't ask a question that you don't know the answer to. Okay.
Yeah.
For obvious reasons or whatever. But all right. So I see that you've represented cybersecurity, life insurance. You talked about the wellness products, and I saw parenting.
Yeah.
So what was that all about?
I mean, we've done all sorts of products. So like parenting media, we worked with somebody that's had a book about getting pregnant through acupuncture. We've worked with multiple brands. When I was a new mom, I was so obsessed with all these baby products that we worked with so many different parenting and baby brands back in the day. That's all I wanted to promote. It also has to do with at least as an agency owner, sort of what most of the business that we get is through referral, but the ones that I go after is stuff that I'm personally interested at the time. And so at those times, I was really into the mommy parenting stuff. And we still do a lot of parenting products just because we're parents. We know how to do it.
Yeah. All right. So, and you also, on the other end of the spectrum, you do tech products.
Yeah.
What
We've done apps before. We've done scholarships apps before. We've done budgeting apps. We've done a cybersecurity expert that I call him the godfather of cybersecurity. We've done it's this meditation expert where you listen to headphones and you do meditations underwater where you're floating and they're playing the music and you're meditating. I mean, really, we've done life insurance, pretty much anything where there's a hook and a story.
Yeah,
we can do it.
And you also did a rabbi.
Yes, we did.
So a rabbi actually contacted you and said, I need in my life?
Yeah. We did it. We did it for a few years. And then we decided going forward, we don't want to take in on any more religious or political clients just because the pushback from the media can be pretty tough, you know, and we don't want to be known as a specific pigeonholed, type of agency.
I hear you. Yeah.
But it was a great experience.
I've always tried to tap dance around political topics, religious topics, but the few times that I've kind of done a few episodes on immigration or guns, it's just I'm like, all right, already. I got you. But people watched and listened.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of the yin and yang of life at the current time. All right. And then there was one other thing. I want to close this on the turkey cuddling. I mean, I was not completely focused on that part, but talk to me about, is there a turkey cuddling? Is it a product, service?
So one of our on-again, off-again clients that we work with seasonally, it's a national nonprofit animal sanctuary, and it's very well known. They have a big celebrity following, and at Thanksgiving, they do turkey cuddling, where you go in and you go behind the turkey and you hug them and you cuddle them. And so that's turkey cuddling. And they also do cow hug therapy, which The founder had a book come out, so we promoted the book, and she was on CBS This Morning, and we've done cow hug therapy with her on the Today Show and Good Morning America. So it's actual real therapy. Just like, if you have a cat or a dog and you're feeling down and you hold them and it like calms you down, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
And the turkeys and the cows can feel your emotion.
Interesting. I would just assume if I approach the turkey, to like, I don't know. But in any event, all right, we're talking PR. So did I cover everything? Is there anything I missed that you would like?
I think you pretty much got everything. Yeah, you asked some great questions that I'm sure people want to know. So
Yeah. All right. So, and what's the best way to get in touch with you?
you
Not in times right now.
Okay, email me, Megan@lightyearsahead.com, Megan, MEGAN, at lightyearsahead.com, or you can go to my website, lightyearsahead.com. I would love to just lend you an ear.
All right. Lovely. So this is Megan Bennett, CEO, president of Light Years Ahead, grassroots boutique PR firm. If your branding is not working, you're really good. Maybe you want to be an influencer and you just can't seem to get past the social media buttons. Here's an excellent way for you to make it happen. And you can explore it. You can, you're not stuck with a 2-3 year contract or whatever. You can try it out for 3-6 months and see if it works. Megan, nice to meet you and good luck. We'll chat again.
Okay,
And all your info
perfect.
will be in the show notes. So in case somebody didn't get the email right, they'll go to the show notes and you'll get all the info. All right?
Thanks.
That's all for this episode of Cut to the Chase. But before you go, will you open up your podcast app and give us a 5-star review? You can also leave a comment about what you liked most or other topics you'd like us to cover. And please be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any upcoming shows. Thanks, everybody. Be safe out there.